Financial independence, retire early, that's FIRE. Financial independence living abroad is a strategy that lets you enjoy life now. You're moving to a place where your money is going to stretch much farther, like Philippines, Thailand, Colombia, Bali, anywhere you want. I'm actually living on a much smaller budget than most people, but that's because I'm balls to the wall with this FIRE shit. Suddenly you're back in the States, you're broke, you have no income, you're eating ramen in your friend's basement for the rest of your life, and it's all because you didn't stick around until the end of this video. Big mistake. Seriously, don't do that. Stick around to the end.
You're not allowed to quit.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Just kidding. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. You can call me Uncle Christmas if you want. We're kicking off a brand new video series today on a topic that I think that a lot of you are thinking about, and that is how can I enjoy my life and move abroad now without having a pension? I'm not ready to retire yet. I'm going to need some income. So what strategies can I use to put that in place? So you probably want to escape the matrix, get out of the daily grind, move to a tropical paradise, and actually enjoy your life while you're still young enough to live it. But here's the thing, we don't want to make rash decisions about moving out of our country and abandon our safety net and the financial security that we've been working hard to build for the future. Most people spend 40 years grinding at work, all with the hope that someday maybe they can have enough money to retire and travel and enjoy their life. But with the FILA strategy, we want to find a way to enjoy life now while still building long-term financial security. So first, let's talk about FIRE and how that works. It's financial independence, retiring early. It's a big movement. There's a philosophy that says that you should save aggressively, put away up to 50% or more of your income into things like stocks, index funds, real estate, Bitcoin if you want. And when you get to a certain number, then you'll be able to retire early and enjoy your life. The strategy for most people in the FIRE movement is to save up 25 times your annual expenses, and that's going to be your FIRE number. That's what you need to retire early. Once you hit that number, you can start withdrawing 4% of your net worth every year for your living expenses and never run out of money until you die. That's the theory. So if your cost of living is $50,000 a year, then you would want to save up $1.25 million, and that would be your FIRE number. For most people in their 50s and 60s, their whole goal is to hit their FIRE number as early as possible, and then what they will want to do is coast until they're 62 or 67 or whenever they're able to start drawing their pension or their social security bennies, and then they can live off of that for the rest of their retirement. They've got a shorter timeline than us, so the challenge for them is just to get to their FIRE number, and that's it. Now here's where FILA comes in. For those of us in our 30s and 40s, we've got a little bit longer of a timeline, and we've got probably less money than those that have been saving in their 401ks or whatever for 30 years. So we have a lot of catching up to do, but we also have more time to accomplish it. So we're going to make some small adjustments to the strategy. So the advantage we have as younger guys is we have more time to let our investments grow and compound. That's our advantage. Now the disadvantage is that we have to keep working and earning income to add to our investments every month because we're not going to be able to fall back on a pension or a 401k or social security for at least another 15 or 20 years. So FILA, financial independence living abroad, takes the FIRE strategy and then adds to it because we want to be able to enjoy our lives now. We want to move to the Philippines, Thailand, Colombia, Bali, wherever you want to go, you can make it happen still, and you don't have to wait until you hit your FIRE number, but you will have to keep working because we're not old enough to retire yet. You'll have to be maybe semi-retired, but you'll still have to have some, hopefully multiple income streams, and that's what this video series is going to talk about, and we'll be covering a lot of these topics coming up soon. So how can you boost your quality of life in another country while you're still saving aggressively for your future? When we talk about your FILA number, it's different than just being able to cover your monthly expenses abroad. That's only one part of it. So let's take a popular YouTuber, Steve at Philippines Info Channel, and his monthly budget that he suggests starts at around $1,500 a month. Now, if we're following the basic FIRE formula, we're going to take that number, $1,500 a month, and multiply it by 300 to find out what your FIRE number should be. That comes to about $450,000, so we could round it off at $500,000 and say that's how much you would probably need to retire in the Philippines. I actually live on less than that per month because I'm balls to the wall with this FIRE strategy, and I want to give my investments as much time as possible to compound for years, because that's where the magic happens. The longer you leave it in there, they say it's not timing the market, it's time in the market that counts. So let's break down why this $500,000, $450K number would not work for us. It only works if you never have to go back to the West, if everything works out perfectly, and it's only going to be like a bare minimum. If something goes wrong, you have an emergency, a health issue, you have to go back to the States or wherever you're from, that $450K is not going to last very long. So think about it. If you're in your 30s or 40s now, you move there and then you have to go back to America when you're 55. That $450,000, it's going to disappear really quickly. You still are going to have at least 7 years before you're able to start drawing your Social Security benefits, your pension funds. So you're going to end up broke, living with your friend in the basement, eating ramen. That's not what you want. You want to give yourself a cushion and think ahead to plan for the worst, expect the best, but always leave yourself a little extra. So if you are going to be living abroad, you're still going to have to be covering your monthly expenses, but you also need to keep planning and investing aggressively. So your formula is going to be a little bit different than the FIRE formula. If you draw down your investments to zero, then you're going to have to stretch things out and it's going to get tight. You'll be on a shoestring budget. And when you finally get your Social Security, say it's only $1,600 or $2,200 even a month in America, that's not going to be enough for you to live on in your final years. If you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, you want to be able to live comfortably, and so you need a better strategy. You need a better approach with some flexibility. Here's another reality. It's not a sexy topic, but medical costs and inflation. You might be healthy now and healthcare doesn't feel like a big expense, but here's the deal. As you get older, healthcare is going to cost more, and you want it to. Let me qualify that. As you reach your later years, those rising medical costs are a sign of your success. It means you've made it to the age where you're still enjoying life, living the dream, kicking ass, and you have been doing it for longer than most people, so you should want to congratulate yourself on that, but it's only a good thing if you plan for it. So again, FILA isn't just about bare minimum survival abroad. It's about enjoying life now, higher quality of life while you're still planning for your future, investing aggressively. You're not just coasting, but you're taking things like inflation and medical care into account. If life throws you a curveball, you've got a backup plan. If all this sounds a little overwhelming, don't worry. I've got a FILA calculator that will help you figure out your own number, and I'm going to drop it next week. Don't worry, there's no tricks. I don't even need your email address. I'll just put a link to Google Sheets or whatever. So if you want to take advantage of that, make sure you hit the notification bell, you're subscribed, so you can grab that whenever I put it out next on the next video. We're also going to talk about the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest, and how giving your money maximum time to grow can make all the difference. So you don't want to miss that. Now, some of you might be wondering, isn't this risky? What if I move abroad and I end up burning through all my savings? But here's the thing, FILA is not about being reckless. It's not about packing up all your stuff. You move away, you have this short-term adventure, and then you're broke. It's about using geo-arbitrage to lower your cost of living while you can have a higher quality of life and still be aggressively saving for the future. It's about building wealth faster while living better. But of course, you still need to plan for the worst. There's always that risk of inflation, the risk of higher healthcare costs, the risk that you're going to have to return to your home country, and then you're going to have higher expenses and you don't have that income that you thought you were going to have. You don't want to be the homeless American in the Philippines who ran out of money, he's destitute, and now he has to resort to begging, and the locals are looking down on him like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be the rich one. You also don't want to be forced to move back to your home country, and maybe you got married to a Filipina, but you can't bring her back with you because you can't satisfy the government's financial requirements to make Uncle Sam happy. So then you end up living alone for the rest of your life because you didn't plan ahead. That's why the FILA strategy is smart planning. You're living well now, but you're still stacking money for the future. If this topic hits home for you, make sure you subscribe. The next videos in this playlist, in this series, we're going to talk about the compound interest. We're going to talk about multiple income streams, how you can bring in some money, renting versus buying, costs of healthcare, the basic monthly budgets, all that stuff is going to be included. So make sure you are here with us. This is a brand new channel, and any comments that you leave me, comments, questions, thoughts, just throw it in there. I read everything. I try to respond to everything, and I do appreciate you joining us on this journey. So if you're one of the AFAM foreigners or future expat, digital nomad, if this is helpful to you, just keep it locked, man. We're going to go over a lot of these topics, and I appreciate you. Thanks for chilling. I'll see you in the next one. Forget waiting until you're 65 to start living the good life. There's a better way, and we are going to talk about how to make it work on this channel.